I am Phyllis, alien, formerly known as an alien, and now I'm the editor and publisher of Fate magazine. Seriously, I was born in North Dakota and grew up in a haunted house on a farm, and most of the people in our family had UFO experiences. So I was no stranger to this, even as a young, naive farm girl. I just took it as part of life that we saw things. My brothers saw lights and my parents, and this was 50, 60 years ago before we had any sophisticated satellites or street lights. I mean, it was pitch black up there in North Dakota. So I grew up with the ghosts and the UFOs, and it was kind of fun. Fate magazine is the oldest, longest-running paranormal magazine in the world. We are now celebrating the 60th anniversary of Fate. It started in 1948 with Kenneth Arnold sighting. And Fate has been devoted ever since to reporting on news of all aspects of the paranormal. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, cryptozoology, Bigfoot, weird science, weird archaeology. And the heart of the magazine is people's personal experiences. There's a section called My Proof of Survival and True Mystic Experiences, where people write in with their own heartfelt experiences of seeing something, and once you've seen a ghost or an otherworldly apparition or creature or spacecraft, it changes your life forever. I think it's all interrelated. Back in the old days, I guess the 40s and 50s, I believe that many people felt that at least the UFO phenomena was nuts and bolts spacecraft coming here, looking at us, whatever. But now I think it's become much more sophisticated. It's interdimensional, and there's a whole different kind of consciousness, and it's very much more complex than I think originally how people looked at it. I think they're more accepted now by the mainstream. 20 years ago, you were a kook if you were into UFOs or strange ghosts or otherworldly things. You were criticized. You were made to seem like you were a total lunatic. And I think that was a control thing. Besides, our society was probably more conservative then. It's certainly much more acceptable now. If you've seen something or had an experience, it's much more mainstream. I think it's fashionable. Some of the phenomena is fashionable, and some are not. I mean, you certainly don't want to talk about satanic things or black magic or demons. The people don't like to hear about the dark things, but I think anything to do with the light, if you have an angel experience or any kind of a light, even the little grays are not always so bad for people. I think the Steven Spielberg movie, the E.T. Among Us, I think that made E.T.'s friendly, that hideously ugly little guy, but he had a good heart, and he was friendly and nice, and I think that forever changed people's understanding of aliens. Any stories that people don't agree with, we get negative feedback on them if they don't concur with their own personal views. If we have things about like the Masons or the Illuminati, I mean, there's a big argument of pro and con about that, for sure. And religion, always. Well, I guess Fate is really not involved so much with conspiracy. I mean, we all pretty much concur across the board that there is government cover-ups, that there is conspiracy, there is control of what we are allowed to know about and what we can say, but by and large, Fate doesn't get involved with the conspiracy. We are more interested in people's personal, actual experiences. You cannot deny that, no matter how you say that the skeptics say it didn't happen. If your parent died or a loved one, and they come back and present themselves to you as a manifestation or a voice, or it's something that changes your life. You cannot argue with that. Well, I think right now that there haven't been as many Bigfoot sightings, so it kind of dies down. It goes up and down and up and down. Maybe Bigfoot is a more singular creature and doesn't have technology, at least what people think, so it's not so exciting. I think the UFO thing is very, very in the forefront right now for experiences. I had an experience with a Bigfoot kind of being, in my life. In fact, my girlfriend had one too. I was used to make these Atlantean crystal wands. They're leather-wrapped copper wands with crystal on them. And they're like a focusing tool for healing or whatever good intention you want to use them for. And I had made like 10 of them, and they were lying on my dining room table. And I went in the other room, and all of a sudden I had a sense of someone in the room, in the house. And I saw psychically a very large brown furry being standing looking over the table at these things with both his hands behind his back, just like a person would do. And it was an absolutely incredible, like, oh my gosh. And he was intently examining them just as you would like if you were in a store shopping as for wristwatches or something. And it was so bizarre and so unexpected. But he was obviously very intelligent, and sometimes I can see ghosts on occasions, and this was like I was seeing it into, like he was a ghost image, but he was definitely probably, I'd say, close to 7 feet tall and brown fur, but just very intelligent, very peaceful, very quiet, just standing looking at those objects on the table. It was a neat experience. No, I think I got kind of scared then, so I tuned it out, like, oh my gosh, I'm not seeing this, I can't see this, this can't be real. Oh sure, because I think all little kids, I mean, I saw a ghost when I was little, and then everybody, oh no, you're not seeing anything, it's your imagination. I think all children can see spirit, can see things in other dimensions. Like, for instance, they say there's a monster under the bed. There probably is. It might be just some astral being, but we are conditioned, no, you're not seeing things, it's just your imagination, and we really kill that in children. We destroy that ability for them to float in that other dimension and see things that are of a different frequency. Every month in Fate, we have a whole variety of kinds of stories. We hit the UFO scene, we hit the ghost, the crypto, the weird science, and it's very strange because Fate kind of writes itself. It's neat because articles come in. We'll get 2 or 3 articles on a given topic, and it's like the universe is telling us, hey, people need to hear about this. You need to write about this now. It just kind of happens. It's the most bizarre thing, but I guess it's not, considering the subject matter. I feel it's a real honor to be part of Fate. I feel like I'm a steward of the magazine, and I'm here to help disseminate information that will help people with bereavement, with grief of losing a loved one, that life goes on in the next dimension. When we depart this mortal coil, we aren't dead. We just step into another vibration. And if it helps people elevate their consciousness and makes them free so they don't live in fear, then I think Fate does a great service. Fate magazine is available every month. It's a yearly subscription, 6 months, a year, 2 years. A year subscription is $32.95, 6 months is $20. You can find out about Fate on the website, www.fatemag.com, FATEMAG.com, and get a free issue. Just check it out, see if you like it. Or you can call our 800 number, 1-800-728-2730.